For the high school baseball team that played its home games here, what happened in 1986 would provide memories to last a lifetime. Who could have imagined that far too soon, memories would be all that was left of him? In memory of Pat Chawki, those words on a card and a single burning candle were what the Grant High School class of 1986 saw near the sign-in sheet as they gathered in Los Angeles to celebrate their 20th reunion.
I'd heard that he had had a brain tumor. Everyone's like, yeah, well, that's what we've heard too.
A gifted athlete and an exuberant teenager, Pat Chawki had been the Lancers' right fielder on that '86 team.
A hustle. He hustled no matter what. Didn't matter how tired he was. Let's get this going.
Pat was part of a team that rode the right arm and cocky attitude of its star pitcher, future major leaguer Rod Beck, all the way to the June 12th City Championship game.
And we welcome you on a beautiful night for baseball.
Shown in Los Angeles on live television.
Setting the Lancers defensively for you, over in right, Pat Chawki.
And played at Dodger Stadium.
Of course, in the home dugout of the Dodgers, the Lancers of Grant High School, that's got to be quite a thrill for them.
Pat, I just remember, couldn't contain himself. He was so excited. And I remember even a few times having to tell him to settle down.
Got him swinging, and what a way to end the ball game.
Grant won the game 5-1. First baseball title in the school's history.
Pat was going absolutely crazy. He was just running around in circles and yelling and screaming and getting in front of the cameras for the newspapers, and it was hysterical.
The LA Daily News snapped this photo of Pat on the field after the game. At the 20th reunion, that image reappeared in a memorial slideshow.
I had heard that he'd passed a few years previous to that, but it just, it was really, really hit home to see some of those memories.
The upperclassman right here. Pat Chawki, take over, babe. We won the city championship this year. Hi, Rochelle.
No one at the reunion, no one on that team knew the truth. Pat Chawki wasn't dead. To some people, what had happened to him was even worse. This is 41-year-old Pat Chawki today at a convalescent center in Canoga Park, California. For 9 years, he has been unable to eat, walk, or speak, utterly dependent on others.
What I do is very simple. I just go, hug him, massage his feet, put some cologne on his face, talk to him. I'm just loving him for what he is.
It is an insidious form of anguish known as locked-in syndrome, leaving him isolated in a netherworld of pure memory, because it's believed that Pat Chawki can comprehend everything going on around him.
I dream sometimes at night. He's talking to me.
What do you think he would say to you if he could speak to you now?
I love you, Mom.
What put Pat Chawki here struck without warning in the spring of 2000. 32 years into a health-conscious life, Pat was driving with his wife and kids near their home in Orange County when he asked a question that came totally out of the blue.
He turned to me and asked me if we had enough ice cream tickets for the Neil Diamond concert for the kids. And I thought, okay, he's trying to be funny. And I looked over and I said, Pat, what's wrong with you? You're scaring me, And he's like, no, never mind, never mind.
His speech grew more and more incoherent, so Annette brought Pat in that night for tests.
The MRI showed a huge mass in his brain. It was May 7th, 2000, and he hasn't been home since.
Over the next 3 weeks, while doctors performed 2 brain biopsies and struggled for a diagnosis, Pat's body waged war against itself.
My son stopped walking, eating, and talking. They put food in his mouth. He didn't know what to do with it.
When I was feeding him at one point in the hospital, and he accidentally bit my finger. And he looked up at me and he said, "I'm sorry." You know, just him looking at me that way and saying sorry, it was heartbreaking. But those are the last words I can remember of him saying.
Eventually, a specialist diagnosed Pat with hyperacute multiple sclerosis, a rare disease which can be arrested with drugs. The diagnosis saved Pat's life, but it came too late to save anything else.
They warned us that recovery would be very long, very slow, and that with any kind of brain disease, there's no way of knowing how much healing would take place.
From the fall of 2000 onward, Annette was a single parent and the family breadwinner, working to get better care for Pat, haunted by her own memories of the robust man who had courted and married her at age 20, the father of her 2 children.
Whenever I'd see a dad walking around with a stroller or a dad kicking a ball with his son or playing catch with his son, I would ache.
What kind of dad was he when you were really young?
A nice one, a caring one. He would always be there for me.
What's tough about having a dad who's sick like your dad?
Well, I don't really know how a dad would be.
What would you like him to be able to do next?
Maybe play with me, which he can't.